What's up, ballers? Jacob here with AllDriveNoDrop talking about the Selkirk Project 008 paddles today. Selkirk's latest and greatest from their labs program, and these are also called the Project 008 Pure Foams because the entire core is made out of foam. We have no polypropylene in there. Interesting design, and maybe something we're going to see a lot more in 2025, something we saw with the carbon true foams already. We saw that the entire core was made out of foam. Those had holes in the core. This one does not. This is all just solid foam all throughout. And Selkirk makes a ton of shapes. They have all their, all the different shapes, and then they have 10, 13, and 16 millimeters. I was only able to try the Invictas and the 10 and 13 millimeters, so that's what I'm going to be talking about today. These are priced at $288, so a little less than their traditional paddles that have been in the labs program. That used to be $333. These are $288. They don't do discounts, but if you want to support the channel and you're going to think about purchasing one of these, the link is in the description. It will help me out and help the channel keep growing. But I want to get into the construction of these and the specs that these bring and how they perform on the court. This is like my first impression because I think that this technology has a lot of potential, and I think that they could transform this into a flagship paddle in the future, hopefully pretty soon. So let's jump into the construction real quick and we'll talk more about that. Okay, so the Pure Foam is a high density foam that resists crushing and deformation, which improves durability and responsiveness. That's what they say. So why is it different? This is just basically all the information I have. So reading from what they have to tell me, Pure Foam core flexes to increase dwell time while creating spin and ensuring consistency throughout the paddle face. It's the future of paddle core technology. Is it? We'll see. So it allows them to add control and feel, and then it kind of lets you play with the densities a little bit more than polypropylene as well. It's a thermoform paddle still with the additional edge wall around the perimeter. So I guess you got a double, you got the foam in the core with the foam edge wall still. And so this does play very muted. And I think that, compare this to another thermoform paddle that is going to have a polypropylene core, the same thickness, it's going to have a better sweet spot. So we're winning in those areas, right? We'll jump into the specs real quick as well. Let me give you those specs. So the specs on these, we got their Invicta shape, which is a 16.45 by 7.45. So we'll just call this an elongated. And then it comes in the 10, 13, and 16 millimeter core. The 10 millimeter core and all the other ones are listed from 7.7 to 8.1. Both of mine came in at 7.9 ounces. Handle length of 5.5 inches. Grip circumference of 4.25 inches. My 10 millimeter was a 110 swing weight, and my 13 millimeter was a 109 swing weight. Twist weight 5.25 on the 10 millimeter and 5.48 on the 13 millimeter. So what does that say? Like, same thing with the carbon true foams. They had lower twist weights than you would expect, and these do too. So it doesn't really necessarily tell the whole story. Like the 10 millimeter felt really good compared to any other super thin paddle. I felt like not any harsh vibrations, big sweet spot for a 10 millimeter. And then same thing with the 13 millimeter. I would say the problem here is though, that the power level is really low. So you got that soft muted feeling, feels really good, right? For a lot of people that are looking for that. And I think the dwell time was okay. I mean, the problem is I think this 10 millimeter, you're not going to get too much dwell time. 13 millimeter started feeling more dwell time. I bet on the 16 millimeter Invicta and on their Epic, probably, if you play with their wide body shape in the 16 millimeter, I bet you'd get a ton of dwell time on there. On the 10 millimeter, not as much. But honestly, I was impressed with, the direction that they're going. You have the peel ply, you don't have the spray on grit. It's not edgeless. I just think they need to get a little bit more power. On the 10 and 13, the pop is like above average limit. It's not, it's not like at a Paddle Tech pop level or the some of this Core Super Quartz or the 11624 Power series. but I would say it's above the pop level of those 11-6-24 all courts, the bread and butter Shogun, stuff like that for the 10mm and 13mm. Now the power level is slightly, especially with the 10mm, just talking about stock, it plays a little bit below average for a paddle of these specifications. You know, even less than something like the bread and butter Shogun, even less than, like, I would say 6-0 double black diamond. So we're talking about a pretty low power level stock, right? So with the way the game's going and what people are looking for, it's not exactly where we would want it to be on a power level. Now the good thing is the swing weights are low. You can add weight to these and get that power level up. It's just once we are starting to add weight, we're getting to the higher swing weight levels where, you know, and it's just not, you know, it makes it into a paddle that is acceptable, but it is not exactly what I would be looking for at this price point and this performance level. I mean, I think the sweet spot is still above average, and you're getting above average dwell time for what the thickness is. And you're getting, you know, a paddle that plays way above its twist weight. So it has positive aspects, but I think they just need to tweak it a little bit, somehow get more juice into it to get that power level that a lot of us are craving. I used an 8-inch strip of 1 gram per inch tungsten tape on these. So on the 10mm and the 13mm. And that made it play quite well. I mean, I was playing well with these. It felt good. And then sometimes, you know, I felt like I could access quite a bit of power when I had that weight on there. I was talking about with the carbon true foams, I think, you know, adding this perimeter weight has more of an effect with these foam paddles. For me so far, you know, and it could just be, you know, a coincidence with these two. Like once we try it out with more, we'll see. But yeah, $288. For me, personally, it's hard to see it competing at that price point. They do, you know, have a good warranty program. I don't think these have the lifetime warranty though. I think this is like a 2-year warranty. But I'm interested to see how these do in the future. If I was going to get one of these, I would prefer to get it in their epic shape, you know, their wide body shape. But if you really are a hardcore Selkirk fan and you're looking for the best they have to offer, this is going to be one of their best series right now. I just want to see if they can tweak it a little bit to get more power. But I think this is on the right path. So that's my first impression of these Project 008s. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, like it please, and subscribe. It helps me grow the channel. And then if you've played any of these 008s, let me know which shape you've played and which thickness and how it has played for you. Very interested to hear everyone's thoughts. I think these foam paddles, all foam paddles, are going to be huge in 2025. So I'm excited to see where Selkirk goes with this and everything else in store for 2025. Thank you. Have a good one. Go play some pickleball.